I'm here chatting to Heidi Soliman. Heidi, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I am doing very well. It's great to finally have a chat because we've been sort of messaging up and down on LinkedIn and, like, oh, wow, you do this and oh, wow, you do that. And I just thought, you know what, it'll be great to have a chat and for people watching to understand the amazing power of the human mind as well. And, it's always great to chat to people like yourself so that there's many strategies and techniques and just thoughts that people can take away going, you know what, I can, improve myself or my mind or my situation. So thanks for joining me.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you so much for inviting me. And I'm very grateful to be here, and also very grateful to belong to the human race, this amazing, powerful force that is shaping the world and the planet. So I'm really grateful for the interview or the chat that we're having. And I'm also very interested to know more about what you do, also because that would be great to also share in my context of work. How does that fit in? It would be great to know because I'm really open to learn more and more every day, as we all are. And we'd be very interested to also understand from my perspective and the way I use transformation, how does that fit in what you do and what you teach people to actually practice?
Yeah, definitely. And I think, having these chats just brings greater awareness to what transformation is. But yeah, before we get in there, I want to ask you, usually people say, Heidi, tell me your story, all that sort of stuff. But we're going to hit the nail on the head and look at that word transformation, because that has a really deep connection with people, right? So just to you, how would you define your transformation?
Um, I'm gonna make it very simple and say I was in a specific way of being that wasn't serving me, and I got the awareness and the consciousness that I am choosing who I am, what I am, and what I'm doing, and what I'm attracting in my life. And if I change the way I'm being, I'll be able to just attract different things and be in a different place and state. So therefore, I chose that. And transformation is basically, stepping from one state of being to another. That's what I believe transformation is. It's all the answers are here. They're not outside anywhere. It's about us tuning into that Heidi Soliman, real Heidi Soliman, FM, and not tuning into something else. So transformation is opening to new possibilities. That's what I believe it is.
And I think the key thing you mentioned there is you gain that consciousness to move into transformation. So how did you get there in the first place with that consciousness? Because that's the question that people will be asking is, yeah, I moved into transformation with that consciousness, but some people don't get that. So how did you get it?
I got it because this random woman asked me that question that changed my whole entire life, while I was rock bottom, literally dying. So I was sick, very sick with MS, multiple sclerosis, and I was very incapacitated for 5 years. And I personally was having one of the most aggressive kind of MS where everything just dies or completely destroys over time, and every attack that I get would just take away something, that ability of a way that I could use my arms, my legs, my bladder, it was a mess. And I remember the last attack that I had when I was told the news that I was dying is when I collapsed on the floor, taken to the hospital, an attack, and I was mute. I lost my voice. And while I was at the hospital, lost my voice, the doctors did my MRIs, lumbar punctures, and everything, obviously, to diagnose the state. And they said, listen, the way you're going, the next attack is going to hit your diaphragm. And if your diaphragm goes, we can't help you. We're going to put you on a life support equipment for a while, and then someone from your family is going to make a decision about pulling the plug on you. So we give you 3.5 months. Now, that wasn't strange for me to hear, for the simple fact that I'm a biomedical engineer to start off with. So medicine is my field. And I was always on the other side, hearing my colleagues telling the patient that. Now I was on the receiving side. And I heard that and I thought, well, I believe in what they're saying because this is what I know. This is what I understood. This is what I studied for years. This is the line of work that I chose. I know that this is the consequences. This is the natural progression of the disease. I will die. While lying in that hospital bed, waiting to get discharged, to go home and to figure out a way to tell my kids and my mom, the person that was going to pull the plug, that this is going to happen, this random woman asked me, why did you choose MS? I couldn't scream, I couldn't cry, I couldn't get up and hit her. If I could, I would, but I couldn't. I was thinking, what a bitch. She is ignorant. She doesn't understand. No one chooses their disease. Anyway, annoyed, frustrated, go home, thinking about what I'm going to do. What am I like? They in the hospital, they asked me to prepare for my funeral. I'm thinking, what am I going to do? I can't even talk. So I'm going to write this down to my children. I'm not sure what to do. And this question kept eating at me. Why did I choose MS? And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to Google it. I have nothing else to do here. I am frustrated. I am upset. I am sick. I'm sad. And I can't even walk and talk. I can't take myself to the bathroom. But I have a phone in my hand and my right arm was working at that stage. Took the phone, started searching, can people choose their disease? How do people choose their diseases? What do we do to choose a disease? And to my surprise, I couldn't imagine. We choose everything. We choose how much we earn. We choose the relationships that we enter and exit. We choose the circumstances that happen to us. We choose our physical reality, including our physical body. We choose. And I thought, I'm like, I don't know about you, Denzel, but I believe in God. And I believe that one day, this higher power, we're going to meet and greet. And though I thought, okay, well, if I am going to meet God in the next 3 months, or if I'm going to, be in the presence of this higher power, then what am I going to say? I have chosen the shit of life that I had, and I have chosen the state of my body, and I have basically killed myself. Now, I didn't want that. You ask me, I just didn't want that. All I wanted to do was to just, now I know that I'm responsible for all of that. Then all I wanted to do that for the next 3 months, I'm just going to prepare myself for that meet and greet. That's all. And then that's it. I healed.
Okay. So your consciousness came when obviously that question came up, why do you chose? And that got you thinking in all sorts of directions and made you realize that, you know what? I am the one responsible. I make the decisions and this is the result. of my decisions, and then you prepared yourself. But when you were preparing yourself, that's when you started healing, right? Can you tell me how that happened? Because you could still prepare, but see you later. 3 months is gone. You know what? I enjoyed the last 3 months. I had a huge awakening, whatever. But that's it for me. I'm out. Checked out. See you later. How did you get from that stage of pretty much on your deathbed to healing from that one question? What happened from that stage?
While searching, I found so many answers from so many different people. So I found that Dr. Joe Dispenza says that we choose our reality by choosing our thoughts and emotions. Dr. Bruce Lipton says that in biology of the belief of, and all of the honeymoon effect, and all of these books that I read while sitting down on my couch and lying down in my bed, listening to audios and all of that. What I saw, Dr. John Demartini talks about values and how they, steer away our lives, in different directions. Dr. Greg Braden talks about heart and mind coherence and how all of that is affecting how we think and feel, and how our organs and how they are affected by the way we think and feel. And I read all of that and I thought, okay, well, all of these amazing scientists, they're about something, they're not just, this is not BS. So how do I help myself heal, knowing all of these facts now? So I chose to hire a coach. I hired a coach. A coach helped me. I said, listen, obviously over text, and then I couldn't talk. I am in a very critical situation and I've got this thing here and I know I'm dying and I know that I have chosen this somehow. What is the way to help me to unchoose all of that? Is there a way to unchoose it? And then I remember that time, it was one of the most defining moments in my life. I said, I've got 3.5 months to go. He ignored it completely. And he kept asking different questions. And I said, all right, he didn't see it. Maybe he didn't hear it. Maybe I don't know what happened. Maybe I'm going to make a statement again. I've got 3.5 months to go. And ignored it again. I thought, oh my goodness, he's not reading, he's not hearing, he's not, what the hell is wrong? This is huge. I need to tell him. He needs to see that. He needs to know the impact of this on me. And asked again. He said, heard it the first time. Who said you do have 3.5 months to go? Who said today isn't the end of your life? Who said after this session isn't the time that you're actually meant to go? Who said? Why are you waiting for 3 months? Why? So he basically took the power of death away. He made it a reality that I don't need to wait 3 months. I could do it now. I could start looking at my life like moment by moment by moment by moment and have a different reality every moment. So what did I do? I hired a coach, worked with a coach till I was feeling a lot better, gained my voice, got my control back, everything. By 4 months, I decided that, okay, look, I'm healing properly. And I don't advise anyone to do that, but I made a plan to stop my medication on my own. I have medical information and I could do something like that on my own terms. I do not advise anyone to do anything like that. I was on very heavy medication and the way I did it was safe. However, normal people with normal knowledge, they are not to do that. So I did that, stopped my medication. 6 months later, I had no MS symptoms. I was completely running around and eating everything I wanted and doing everything I ever desired.
Wow, that's a massive transformation, going from, almost dying to now living the life that you pretty much desired. when you're, on your deathbed. So it's interesting because, we're both coaches and we're both, practitioners in sort of helping with the mind. And, I found from my personal journey as well, I was, pretty much on my deathbed, and they said, look, if you didn't come in for the operation, you would have been gone, and that kept getting delayed and delayed. And just on the last day, I was fortunate, and, I didn't have any, epiphany or anything like that. I made the same mistakes, but then again, the moment came when I realized that I can make that change,
Yes.
as an individual. And, there were times where I was so much in pain, I couldn't move. But I went and did my speaking engagements, or went and, traveled, because I told myself that, you know what, I'm actually more excited about such and such, and, almost reduce the impact of this illness, even though I was feeling it. But the more I practiced this, the more less I was feeling of the pain and struggles and everything like that. And, I've, for people don't know, I've got Crohn's disease, and Crohn's disease is one of those, illnesses where it can affect lifestyle as well. So, after my surgery, and, they took parts of my intestines out, like 31 staples, which was fun. And they said, look, you're just going to be struggling quite a bit. But, once you do start working in that space of, okay, it's got to do with the mind, I've got all these exciting things to look forward to. So that's what sort of, I guess, made it for me, was just looking forward to the excitement of life, and the gratitude stuff. And what I found was, as I was getting those pains, instead of saying, oh no, I'm going to die, or oh no, this is happening to me, and whatever, it'll be like, okay, this is only sort of temporary for now. It's reminding me of something. What's it reminding me of? What are the learnings I can get from this? And then quickly move on to, what am I really looking forward to the most in my day, in my week? I'm meeting this person, or I'm doing this exciting thing, or, I want to travel to such and such country. And it's just being in that moment of excitement rather than pain, really helped me out. Now, what made this better for me was that I was a memory expert. Now, with memorization, essentially it's a lot of storytelling, right? So if you've ever done sort of memory techniques or anything like that, the more you train your memory, the better you get at storytelling. That's got a negative and a positive effect. The negative side is, if you've got a heightened sense of storytelling, like the memory experts and athletes, then any negative situation happens, you could spiral down even deeper and make yourself more sick. And it took me a while to get this, because I was still getting sick. But once I understood that, then it's like, wow, I can use this to my advantage and go the other way now. Right? Because I can tell a better story, just like what, Greg Braden, Bruce Lipton, all these people say, is you can create that story that you want and visualize, because we've got the power of imagination, and people don't realize how powerful it is. And that's what you used as well, didn't you? That's what, and plus Google, by the way, Google also saved my life. I Googled, and got to where I am. So, it's Google saves lives, as we know. But yeah, I visualized what I wanted. I imagined, and I included all my emotions in there as well. Now, what you talk about, I've watched one of your interviews. I thought it was quite powerful. You talk about unprocessed emotions. Right? Can you tell us more about that? Because I think that once you understand how your emotions work and how you connect it to your imagination and visualization, then that can have a profound impact as well.
Yeah. So basically, in essence of our being, every single emotion that we feel in our bodies comes from a thought. Where does the thought come from? From a perception of some sort. So we receive information from the world through our senses. So our senses are our antennas. And we receive the information from our senses, but then they don't come into our memory bank, as you would know, except that they will go through filters. Now, for us to be able to store a piece of information, they need to go through these filters so we can put them in the right spot, put them in the right box. So we go into life making a comparative analysis with things that we have stored already in our brain. So every single situation, the way we store it is by comparing it to something that is similar to it. And therefore, if you focus on things that are miserable, things that are sad, things that are, not serving you, if you focus on that, if you had focused on that for quite a long time, it is really difficult for you to look at something and go, oh, this is amazing, this is really hopeful. Unless you are consciously aware that you have been storing this information in that box, and now you are consciously aware that you want to store other information in a different box. And therefore, all the information that came to your body, because emotions are the language, emotions, energy in motion, usually is the language of the body. Now, if I would ask, maybe you're more aware, so you will know, if I would ask any person to close their eyes and just try to point to where in their bodies do they feel the emotion anger? Where in their body do they feel the emotion disgust? Where do they feel peace? Where do they feel jealousy? Where do they feel some of these emotions? People are going to be confused. They don't know where they feel it. Every single emotion goes and sits in a specific point in our bodies, and therefore the Chinese call it meridians, and then they follow the meridians of the energy and go into, trying to locate where it is and to basically diffuse it. But unprocessed emotions, they will sit, and then another one will come on top of it and sit there and sit there and sit there, and therefore we get sick. And if we don't process one by one that come to us, they will just all of a sudden blow up like a volcano in our faces, and we get MS, we get cancers, we get whatever it is. So every single disease has an underlying factor, and it's an emotion. Yeah, and that's what psychosomatics is.
Yeah, it's really interesting because a lot of ancient texts and learnings and all that they do sort of talk about this stuff, but it gets as we get into the Western world, it's almost like it's forgotten, and we put ourselves in more stressful situations, and it's not really, it's easy to blame society, but we are the ones in control as well. So I think that's what I noticed, because when I work with people, those people that do complain about a lot of stuff, you can see that they've got a lot of other issues as well. It's not saying they're bad people or not. It's just, the emotions are definitely going somewhere. Whereas, you deal with those unprocessed emotions, then you either get closure or you get some sort of solutions out of it. So as you were saying earlier, we've got everything inside of us. And that's the beauty of working with coaches, because it is life-changing, is that the coach, they don't actually teach you anything new, but they bring out what's already inside of you through, some amazing questioning. And, I've been coaching for over 20 years, and the best books that I've read is all about questioning. It's not so much about how to be a better coach, but it's like, what sort of questions is going to bring out the answers? And when people come up with the answer on their own, they're like, oh, wow. So that's that little light bulb moment, and it is life-changing. So, and that's what you had a whole bunch of light bulb moments from that coaching, and it gave things in perspective to you as well. Like, I could die now, I could die 2 weeks later, what's 3 months? Like, it's medical, they give you a guideline, but really what are you choosing? how are you choosing to sort of live from there? So when I was talking about my excitement, I was essentially bottling that up instead of the negative stuff. But there's also stuff that is subconscious as well. Like if you're in a toxic relationship or environment or something like that, you could still be a positive person, but this stuff is still impacting you and you're wondering, why am I not losing weight, or why am I still unwell? Like, how's that happen? How do you deal with people like that?
I say that you need to feel it to heal it. So if you feel angry because you have a toxic environment, well, feel angry. Be upset about that. But don't sit in the anger as much as, go deeper into, well, what is under anger? A lot of the emotions that we actually feel, they are surface emotions. And in order for us to go to the bottom of that, to actually feel it, to heal it, it's not the anger that we need to feel. It's more like the sadness of, I wish I had a better environment to live in. The more we understand, the more we are allowing ourselves to accept. And if we accept and be at peace with what we accept, we can live anywhere in the world and not be affected.
Yeah, I like what you said there, because there's some people out there thinking, oh no, I shouldn't be feeling sad, or this is not good. Well, feelings serve us for a reason. It's staying in those feelings that can have an effect. So I really love what you said there as well. And it's a beautiful thing. I mean, it's not always about happiness and love and rainbows. All these other things happen so that we can, learn from them and understand how do we want to live our lives. And, just getting to what you were saying, the root cause of all these things, and I'm sure that's what you do,
Yes.
with the work, is once you find that root cause and get in
Yes.
there and ask a lot of those questions, and it can be a light bulb moment for some people, finding a root cause, or it could be, like I said, further questioning on their behalf, but they'll still get to, oh, wow, this has been since childhood, or, this has been, going on for some time. Here's how I can do things now. So it gives them a way to move out as well once they get to the root cause. Whereas if you're always surface level, you're going to keep putting band-aids, but it'll still keep bleeding because you haven't addressed the bottom issues. So yeah, that's a lot of this is what I find, because I work in the field of mental performance, and sometimes I deal with athletes and stuff like that, and they struggle to look at, okay, why aren't I performing like I used to, and so forth. And they look at band-aid solutions of, I've got to kick better, I've got to do this better, and so on. But they don't realize that their thinking or the way that they're living, even the way that they're eating, is not serving them. Right.
Yes.
So once they do get to that core, and yes, they, professional athletes have psychologists and people that work with them, but they also don't know that you can train this ability as well. So memory training that I do with people, it's not about remembering better. It's actually about encoding a lot faster. And what encoding is getting something that's abstract. So any bit of data that we get, even just speaking, is abstract. So it's like, in computer terms, it's zeros and ones, doesn't make any sense, right? But when it's displayed out as an image, that's when you get it. So data has no meaning whatsoever until you give it meaning, until an image comes out. But there is a time frame that happens, right? So memory training actually reduces that time frame so you can process a lot faster. And when you're processing a lot faster, your brain actually strengthens up as well. So now, instead of just being able to remember better, or instead of just processing a lot faster, being more creative, you're now looking at more solutions to better yourself, or more solutions to fix certain problems. And that's what happened to me with my illness, is the more and more I trained with memory, the better I got with my illness as well. And I eventually stopped taking medication. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it to people, as you said. Get some, good advice on that. I probably need better advice because I'm not in the medical field. But I was at a stage where I was constantly going to hospital, to just stop going to hospital at all. and it's been over 10 years since I've been to hospital now. The last time I went was when Steve Jobs died. So that was when I was in hospital. So it's been a while since then. So yeah, getting to the root cause, understanding how the mind works and moving on from there, which is really powerful, as you're mentioning, with the root cause stuff. So tell me then, I don't want to take up too much of your time. Where can people get a hold of you? Because I understand you are in Australia, you're in Melbourne. How could they get a hold and move forward and possibly work or have a chat to you?
Yes, of course. So I have a website, HeidiSoliman.com, and a lot of people reach out on YouTube as well. They ask a lot of questions. I have a YouTube channel, and when they do reach out, I collect questions and then I make a video and I answer it, and then I put some testimonials there, and a few other things. So I am there available. My work phone number is actually on my Facebook. So, lots of people reach out with questions and, requests for a consultation session or something. So, everywhere there is a show that I run every Monday that is broadcasted on Channel 31. It's called Hanging Out with Temi. So I'm a co-host, and what we do is usually we tackle a specific issue or a problem. It doesn't have to be health related. It could be anything related, life related. And we talk about how that we can change. If we can't change it, then we can change the way we look at it, like that meaning of data, like you just shared before. Because I certainly can't change, I couldn't change what happened in COVID. Neither did you. No one could. We were locked up for a very long time in Australia, and we just, what we did is that all I did is that I made a different meaning out of being locked up and made the most out of it. And it was a beautiful, fruitful time for me. So, it's not about changing the data. It's about when the data's there, the meaning that I put on the data, like you shared.
Yeah.
And therefore, it's about what I perceive at the receiving end of it.
I think that's beautiful. And I'm glad there's, people like you doing this sort of stuff, because they need to hear your story. They need to hear that they can heal themselves. They need to understand it's never too late. You're literally right at the door, so it's never too late, that you can always do something. And I'll put those links as well in the description of whatever video. I put this on mostly. It is YouTube, but I will cut up snippets for socials and stuff and tag you in so people can follow you. But I've noticed on your website as well, you are very generous with your time and consultations as well. So I think people should definitely take advantage of that and just have a chat to you, because there's nothing wrong in having a chat and understanding. And there's people are in all sorts of, not just trouble, but they want to better themselves as well. So it's both ways. It's not always sort of negative. But yeah, I really do appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
And looking forward to, chatting again.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Love being here. Thank you.